Welcome back, Devils fans, and I am here to respond to a little segment that Steve Dangle did on his podcast with his numbnuts friends yesterday, criticizing the quotes Martin Brodeur made to Pierre LeBrun from The Athletic regarding the state of goaltending today. I actually did my own video talking about it yesterday, and in the comment section, someone pointed out that Steve Dangle and his cronies decided to fire shots at the GOAT in a little segment they did on their podcast, and I checked it out. I was absolutely infuriated watching it, and I had to respond. I just think it was a completely ridiculous segment on so many levels, and I'm just going to go through it with you guys, and you could take a look at some of the nonsense that this guy was talking about. So we'll start here.
Then the other thing I sent you was Martin Brodeur. I don't know if you got that in front of you. Still.
Okay, yeah, you pull it up. Just pull it up.
Okay.
I don't know which text conversation this came in.
Okay.
So,
Brodeur yesterday or the other day spoke with Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic, and he had some complaints about the goalie situation around the National Hockey League. Mm-hmm. And he said to Pierre LeBrun in The Athletic, "I think we baby our goalies," the New Jersey Devils executive vice president of hockey operations told The Athletic. "I see it. I'm part of it. It's like my goalie coach will say he's played 5 games the past 8 days. I'm like, so? Question mark.
If I could fart harder, I'd throw up my back.
The sport has changed, but the position has changed a lot just because of the workload that these guys are having. It's so volatile, that position. 1 year, you can be on the top of the goalie. You can be the top goalie. The second year, it's like you don't even belong in the league. It's weird how really volatile the position has become. It's the system of 1A and 1B that's going to create that, because it's always going to be, we can't play back-to-back games. You're so scared the number one gets hurt, and so you baby that guy for the longest time. So these guys are playing 55 games. They should be playing 65 to 70 games like we did.
Thanks, Doc. Like you, it's very interesting. I think because Martin Brodeur was exemplary, was world-class, was all-time at stopping pucks, he now thinks he's all-time at sports science. That's not how it works today.
Because he was exemplary at stopping pucks, he thinks he's all-time at sports science, and that's not how it works today. What a smug, arrogant clown. The first time I saw it gets more and more crazy. But just to start off, Marty never said he was great at sports science. He's bringing his 30 years plus of playing goaltender to the conversation and giving his viewpoints. And for you to just sit here and so matter-of-factly, that's not how it works today. That's not how it works today according to you. He's giving his viewpoint on the subject, which, quite frankly, he's way more credible than most people on planet Earth to give their viewpoints on goaltending. Let's just continue on.
I also would.
That's not how it works. How come no one's been able to do it? Like, either everyone is an entitled, wimpy baby these days, or that's simply not how it works. And I think thinking that that's, everyone's just a wimpy baby is a lazy, dumb way of looking at the world.
Everyone's a whiny baby. First of all, Marty's never saying that the guys aren't playing the amount of games that he played because they want to. It's not the goaltender's choice. It's the people that pound their chest about analytics and numbers, and the nerds like you, Dangle, are the reason why the goalies aren't playing the amount of games that he's talking about and the amount of games that he played. If you ask Connor Hellebuck and Saros and Sorokin and a lot of these guys, I'm pretty sure if you gave them the option and you spoke with them, they would play the amount of games that Marty played. So to pump your chest and, oh yeah, all these, because no one's been able to do it, because the math people are not allowing any of them to do it. And so he's not calling them whiny babies whatsoever. You're putting words in his mouth. The reality is the people like you are the reason why it's not happening. So no one's been able to do it. We don't really know because teams are not giving them the opportunity to do so and prove that they could do it. So just that's not how it works. I'm not buying it. Sorry, bud. Sorry. Let's just continue on. It gets more ridiculous.
I suggest that, and he's seen this, The game has changed enormously. When he was playing with the neutral zone trap gods, who he really only to stop 20 shots a game most of the time, right? Like it was the dead puck era, and the Devils were amazing.
Because your teammates had license to murder whoever they want.
Well, but also, Steve, they weaponized the 2-line pass rule with the blue or the red line, and so they were able to shut you down in the neutral zone. So if you have a really quiet game and you're not I think there was some conversation with some other goalie about like how are these guys keep pulling their hamstrings and stuff. It's like because the game's way faster than it used to be. Way faster.
The neutral zone trap gods. That's what you're going on. 1995 called. They want their rebuttal back. The trap is so far behind us. And talk about lazy. What a lazy thing to say to discredit those Devils teams and the great Martin Brodeur. And just to give you a history refresher, let's take a look. In the 99-2000 season, the second of the Devils' 3 cup seasons, the Devils were second in the league in goals for with 251, only trailing the Red Wings, who had 278. So second in goals for in the entire league in 99-2000. And then we go to the very next season, 2000-2001. And what do you know? Goals for, the Devils are number 1 at 295. So to sit there and talk about the trap and all this, the Devils had a very potent offense for several seasons there. And to keep talking about the trap as if every year was 1995 is downright lazy and inaccurate. It really is. Let's continue on with the video.
Kevin Weeks told me a story years ago. I won't talk about the goalie that he was talking about, but Kevin Weeks was a kid, young kid growing up. I don't even know if he was playing junior, so he definitely wasn't drafted or in the NHL or anything. He was getting ready to go on the ice, or I think he was just finishing up a workout, and then an NHL goalie was coming on the ice after.
Okay.
And Weeks had this whole routine, and he was getting ready, and he was stretching this, and he was stretching that, and he goes to the NHL goalie. He goes, how come you don't like stretch? And the goalie said, you can't stretch fat, or you can't pull fat. Is what he said.
Fat,
He's
okay.
like, I'm not going to get hurt. I don't have any muscles to injure, which is not how it works.
No.
At all. And that's a goalie who played in an era where you could play a bajillion games, and it doesn't work that way anymore. It just does not work that way anymore. And you're silly to think it can. I'm sorry, but it's disheartening when Brodeur has the career he has. He's then given a position of authority and he says something that's just so easily provably ignorant.
So easily proven ignorant. Again, until we see these teams allow these guys to play these games, you're ignorant. You're ignorant to sit there and say, and just write off Marty's 30 plus years of goaltending experience because you have a microphone. I have a microphone too, bud. That doesn't make us as qualified as the great Martin Brodeur to talk about goaltending. And with your smug, arrogant, like it was just so matter of fact, and Marty's so crazy and that he's arguing the sky is orange. That's not the case. He's giving his opinion from a position of someone whose opinion you should listen to, and you're just writing it off like it's so crazy. The arrogance and the smug demeanor is just completely ridiculous. Let's continue on with the video.
You know what I mean? Kids these days. Well, there it is. Go sign a 50-year-old then, Martin. Go sign someone in their 50s. Go get a time machine or go fuck yourself.
Go sign someone in their 50s? This is where it just goes. When did he ever say that someone in their 50s could play? It makes no sense. And then you say, go get a time machine or go fuck yourself? You go fuck yourself. You have no idea what you're talking about. Again, you just have a microphone, and that's it. Lots of people have microphones. Not a lot of people have the goaltending experience that Marty has and did it at the level he did for so long. And so, again, for you to sit back here and, make these ridiculous proclamations, it's downright disrespectful and ridiculous. Let's continue on with the video.
But I'm so sick of this it's such a lazy way of thinking. Kids these days. Now you're just every old man ever. Ugh. That's so disappointing. Shut up.
Oh, kids these days. Oh, he's just every old man ever. again, he's giving his viewpoints from his experience. And for people to discredit it as if it's so crazy and outlandish and, this crazy change has occurred where he's just a dinosaur now rambling on, the picture that he's trying to paint, completely absurd. And again, I just don't understand where the hatred comes from. I have a theory, actually, that I'll share in a little bit, but just the arrogance continues. We'll keep going.
I don't know if I could say it any better.
I wasn't
Is it-
expecting dead silence. After
Is it
that.
surprising? No, I was just waiting for you to finish because I was going to ask, is it surprising considering how we've seen Martin Brodeur's career play out? I feel like this should be expected by the kind of guy that he's displayed as, like him being like, I don't know if there's a better word for it, but sort of hard-headed during his tenure as an NHL goalie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that mentality Bournes takes like this,
Yeah, well, it's ignorant then.
Ignorant, then? No, the only ignorant people are Dangle and his cronies here piling on. Yeah, and Marty's so hard-headed that he went on to basically own the record books for pretty much all goaltending records. And it's just a shame to see people, that feel because they have a big following and a couple microphones that their opinion is somehow more valuable or more correct than a legend like Marty's is just completely ridiculous. And I think that's a problem with a lot of these people these days that, in the media or online that have these big followings and yada, yada. They somehow believe that gives them credence to write off other people's opinions and that, they're the one that's right and all these other people are stupid. And here's just another example of a guy with a big following whose arrogance, painfully comes through on the screen. I mean, just to watch this was just completely painful. And yeah, Marty's so hard-headed, he went on to have the career he had and it's wild. Let's continue.
I don't know. Like, you hire someone who has the experiences that the reason you hire a person like Martin Brodeur is his abundance of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives you nothing.
He does have abundance of experience, and he didn't give you nothing. He gave his opinion that you do not like, and so you're writing it off. It's not nothing. That is what he thinks, and that is what he said. And so for you to go, he gives you nothing because it doesn't go hand in hand with your view, doesn't make it wrong. And again, I hate to keep saying it, you have a microphone. Marty owns the NHL record books and played in the league forever. So the fact that you're just dismissing all of his viewpoints because you don't agree with him and you're just writing it off as some crazy old man is completely ridiculous and disrespectful. Let's continue on with this.
I wouldn't say that.
He gives you no. Jesse,
what about like the skills he can teach the goalie?
Jesse, he won cups, he won Vezinas, he's in the Hall of Fame, he's arguably the greatest goalie of all time. And then you ask him about modern goalies, and he gives you the same answer you could find in any fucking coffee shop in North America. Are you serious? You ask any random. If you walk up to a stranger, what do you think about goalies these days? And they'll give you some dumb fuck answer like
you go to a coffee time. You see somebody.
Can I be honest?
Coffee there by himself. Yeah.
And then he goes on, what are you talking about coffee shops? And they're going to give you some dumb fuck answer like that? Again, there's not many other people that are remotely on his level to speak with about things like this. And so I'd be curious. I guarantee you a lot of the other great goalies from back in the day would share a very similar viewpoint because that is their experience. They have the experience. You do not. You have a microphone. I have a microphone. So to think that you know better than Marty Brodeur and talk about the sports science and all this stuff, it's just crazy. People really have gotten high off their own followings and things like this, but it doesn't make you any more credible than anyone else, and certainly not more credible than the great Martin Brodeur. Let's just continue on with the ridiculousness.
Marty Brodeur's opinion there speaks to a guy to me who's like, I'm set in my ways and you can't teach me otherwise.
Set in his ways and you can't teach me otherwise? Again, this is the experience that he has. This is what he believes. So all you guys want to look at the analytics departments and all these things, teams are not letting guys prove that they could do it. There's definitely guys that can. There 100% is guys that can. The game hasn't changed so much that it's this wild notion to believe that a goalie could play 70 games. It's not, and I guarantee you, like I said before, if you ask a lot of those guys like Hellebuck, Sorokin, etc., they would like to play more games. This is a fact. This is a fact. So I would take the goalies, current and former, word more so than you, sir. But let's continue on.
I can't believe that you, like, what a resource.
Can you see?
What a resource. It's like, dude, you're asking the greatest goalie of all time a goalie question. It's like asking God the meaning of life. And he gives you that.
Well, and,
like, no one.
Can you see Joe Sakic saying something like that?
I hope not.
Can you see
I
Steve
hope in my
Yzerman
heart
saying
not.
something like that?
God, I hope
Can you
not.
see, like, I couldn't see Shanny. Now, I know they're not goalies, but the point I'm trying to make here is those guys learned and moved with the times. What you're talking about with Marty is somebody who is out of touch.
So Marty's out of touch because he's not bowing down to the analytics nonsense? I don't think so. And then you start saying, would Joe Sakic say this? Would Shanahan say this? The reality is they also have no frame of reference. Well, they have a frame of reference much more credible than yours because they were long, and all of us, because they're longtime NHL greats who played the game forever. But the reality is their frame of reference is not from the standpoint of a goaltender, the greatest goaltender of all time. And so to use all these other people, go ask other goaltenders. That's a great idea from back in the day. I would love to see what they say. Yeah, Shanahan and Sakic might not say it because they have a bunch of math nerds like you guys, the analytics that'll all say the same thing. They've been beaten into submission by whoever it is at these organizations that are pushing this agenda. But if you go ask a lot of the former great goaltenders, I think they're going to tell you something just like what Marty said. So to start naming all these other former players who are now executives who were not goalies is completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Let's roll on.
Well, like, it's just a disappointing nothing answer. And one thing
That's
that,
basically self-aggrandizing. I was so much better than these guys.
fart. Like we're talking, this is an all-time great. But one thing former NHLers, including former greats, do a miserable job of is selling today's game. They don't sell today's game. Call it what it is. This is the best hockey has ever been. Ever.
This is the best hockey's ever been. Ever. Again, that's just like your opinion, man. That is your opinion. That's not fact as well. So to think that your opinions are just facts and anyone who has a differing opinion from yours is some idiot is arrogant. You're completely arrogant. It is hilarious to sit there and then your little chucklehead friend talking about, Marty's, saying he's so much better than these guys. He never said that once in the interview at all. He's just saying he thinks guys could play more games. He didn't ever say that he thought he was so much better than these guys or anything of the nature that you're just pulling out of there for some reason. But it's just patently ridiculous to sit here and make these claims about an all-time great. It's just wild to me that you value your own opinion so much more than Marty that you'd come on the program and shit on the guy. It's just arrogance at its highest level. And let's just keep on with the video.
All of the goalies playing today are better than you. All of them. You put them in a time machine, put them back, put you in a time machine, put you forward. They're all better than you. They eat your food.
This is all of the goalies today are better than you. Steve Dangle, are you fucking high? I want to know, where you buy your weed in Canada? They must have some really strong shit in Toronto. All of the goalies playing today are better than Martin Brodeur. That is completely laughable. Now, this is where you lose all credibility. No one believes that. Maybe the legions of your worshipers might, but no level-headed hockey fan is going to believe that. Yes, all of the goalies today are better than Martin Brodeur. You are completely ridiculous and misinformed and arrogant. Wow, let's just keep going.
All the players are playing with better equipment. They're fucking faster. They shoot harder. They shoot better. They're all better. It's never been better. The skill set is better, and you'll just never hear that.
So this is one of the only things I do agree with him on is that, yes, the players are faster, better, advances in the equipment technology, all these things. That is true. That's true. But that doesn't mean that the game is better. It doesn't mean that goalies can't play more games like they did back in the day. None of these, multiple things can be true at once. Yes, overall the players are more skilled. They are faster. But that doesn't mean that because of that goalies could play 50 games, whatever your little magical math team tells you. That is not the fact. Continue on with the video.
I cannot stand. I know for a fact, like I've talked to people, there are people at NHL head office who hate us. There are people at NHL head office who love us and literally listen to every episode. There are people within the Leafs who hate our guts. There are people within the Leafs who love us and listen to every episode. And I like to think we're fair about the stuff that the stuff within the game that we criticize. But one of the things that I wish people would realize more is I'm the biggest champion of hockey fucking rules. The league is genuinely stupid about a lot of things, but hockey as a sport has never in the history of ever been better than it is right now. And I cannot stand when legends like Martin Brodeur are just like, guys don't play enough games. Shut up.
So, number one, I don't think anyone in the NHL office likes you or listens to every show. I just don't believe that. I believe some of the Leafs people might. I don't think the league likes you like that. I mean, that's a nice thought to think, but I don't think it's true. And to say that you're fair, yeah, you're totally fair. Completely shitting on Marty because he doesn't agree with your viewpoint on goalies, and him being the greatest goalie of all time who did it for 30 years, or from childhood, probably 40 years, whatever it is. To come out with a segment like this is just beyond arrogant. And you're not going to be able to handle this. I actually prefer the 90s game. How about that? Oh, no, I bet I'm an idiot, and that's completely wrong, too. Again, my opinion, I'm entitled to it. I prefer the 90s game. I like 90s hockey better than today's game. Shoot me. And so now what? That's my opinion. There is no right or wrong. It is an opinion, just like Marty gave his opinion on goaltending. And I just think overall, it was the arrogance and the smug demeanor of Dangle and these guys to just talk about Marty in this way as if he's just so outlandish for giving his view. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. And I think this is just another example of people with microphones and a camera thinking that gives them some instant credibility to attack others. And it was painful for me to watch this. When someone pointed it out, I watched it right away, and I was seething while watching it because it's just so ridiculous. Yes, Steve Dangle, you know more about goaltending than the great Martin Brodeur does. You and maybe half your followers believe that. Most, again, level-headed hockey fans are not buying it. And so if we went and polled 100 normal hockey fans and said, we're going to go talk to somebody about goaltending, whose opinion do you think we should get on the matter? Martin Brodeur or Steve Dangle? And I'm pretty sure 99 of the people are going to say Martin Brodeur. And that is the reality of the situation. How dare you make a video attacking an all-time great, a legend of the sport, and the guy who brought your country of Canada their first gold medal in 50 years when he backstopped Team Canada in 2002 to the gold medal. He is a Canadian icon, a legend of the sport. And for you to sit here and slander this man on your program is childish and amateur and, quite frankly, clownish. This is clown behavior. I don't know if you did it for attention, to completely write off Marty's opinion. It's crazy. Music has changed exponentially over the years. Would you shit on Paul McCartney's opinion on producing and recording music? Would you say, oh, he's an old man, what does he know? Would people do that? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure in the music industry, Paul McCartney would be revered for the legend he is, and his opinions would be valued for the rest of his days. But for some reason that doesn't apply here because you know better, because you have a microphone and you have a loud voice and a lot of followers. So we're just going to completely disregard whatever Marty says because he's a dinosaur. Yeah, see if musicians are going to tell you that Paul McCartney is a dinosaur when they want to talk to him about music. Let me know how that goes. Maybe, you know what? Maybe you're still salty that Marty Brodeur owned the Toronto Maple Leafs soul. We knocked you out of the playoffs in 2000 en route to our second cup. And the following year in 2001, they knocked the Leafs out yet again en route to going to the finals before losing to the Avalanche. But maybe that's where your real gripe is. Maybe you really are holding on to those pains from 23, 24 years ago that Marty derailed promising Toronto Maple Leafs teams that had Cujo and Sundin and Domi and the old crew and Tucker. Maybe that's really what this boils down to. Maybe it's sour grapes because the Devils and Martin Brodeur knocked your club out of the playoffs back-to-back seasons and foiled what could have been. What could have been. And while you sit there still waiting for the Leafs to win a cup, you're hating on a man who's won 3 of them over an illustrious career as a New Jersey Devil. And, you know, there's not much more to say about this. It's completely shocking that bozos like you guys could come out here and, you know, just talk shit on an all-time great and shit on his opinion because you don't agree with it. And you talk as if it's just fact and it's just so crazy and, you know, you're so right. Reminds me of a lot of other people in media these days. But I digress. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this deplorable segment on Dangle and anything else Devils hockey, Marty related. But yeah, this just got me fired up and I had to respond. It was just a complete trash video. Complete trash video. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.